Let's return to our top story now. In a major escalation of the Kashmir conflict, Pakistan says it has shot down 2 Indian Air Force jets and captured 2 pilots. India acknowledged losing 1 plane, but said it also shot down a Pakistani jet. Well, I'm joined now by Rifaat Hussain in Islamabad. He's a professor of public policy at the National University of Science and Technology, and from Delhi, the Indian journalist Barkha Dutt. Barkha, I'll begin with you. We've heard from Imran Khan, who said that neither side can afford miscalculations, given that both sides have the weapons that they do. Is that being seen in India as a veiled threat?
Well, I think Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan was referencing the fact that both India and Pakistan are nuclear-powered nations. But I will tell you, Yalda, that the entire idea behind the Indian Air Force striking what the Indian Air Force says was a Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorist base in Balakot inside Pakistan was to call out what Indian officials say is Pakistan's nuclear bluff. Let me just explain this. For very long, the danger of a potential conflict between 2 nuclear nations has enabled, in India's opinion, Pakistan to conduct an asymmetric war against India using terror groups. This time, India was saying that the nuclear blackmail factor cannot be used by Pakistan anymore to back these terror groups. So yes, Imran Khan's statement will be seen as a veiled reference to that, and I don't think it will go down very well in New Delhi.
Let's just bring in Rifaat. Rifaat, is that how it's being viewed in Pakistan, though? Because the Indians, as Barkha has said, are trying to call Imran Khan or Pakistan's bluff here over nuclear weapons.
Well, I think that's a total misreading of the situation. And Pakistan's Imran Khan, when he made this offer of a dialogue to India, including his offer that they are willing to look at actionable intelligence if India has it, if India is willing to share that with Pakistan, so we can look into this. But I think Imran Khan was referring to the horrific consequences of if this conflict escalates and both countries move towards a total war. So then the entire region, including the future of 1.2 billion Indian and Pakistani people, will be put at risk. And he was offering to de-escalate, and he referred to in his comments that we should appeal to rationality and we should apply wisdom in order to seek a de-escalation.
Let me just ask Barkha about that. I mean, is that how it's being viewed, that this is some kind of gracious attempt at an olive branch to de-escalate the situation?
Well, I think, the call for talks by Imran Khan certainly seemed to be an attempt at de-escalation. But the fact is, Yalda, that one of the Indian Air Force pilots is presently claimed by Pakistan to be in their custody. The Foreign Ministry of India has just reacted, saying parading videos of this injured soldier is in violation of the Geneva Convention. India has called it a vulgar display, and moments ago has said that India reserves the right to respond in a firm and decisive manner. So I think if Imran Khan really wanted to make a gesture of goodwill, then in keeping with the Geneva Convention, the wing commander that Pakistan says is in their custody should be and could be handed over back to India, and that perhaps would be a gesture of goodwill that could bring certain amount of de-escalation in this very tense environment.
But what Rifaat is also saying is what the Pakistani Prime Minister and the establishment have been saying for the past 2 weeks. If you have this evidence, if you have this dossier that you're talking about, please present it. Why hasn't India passed that on to Pakistani intelligence and Pakistani officials as yet?
I don't think that this needs a dossier or any sort of evidence gathering. Let me just explain to you what happened here. There was a suicide bomb attack that was masterminded by the Jaish-e-Mohammed, and the man who undertook it, yes, was a local Kashmiri, but who went on video to say that he's a member, a recruit of the Jaish-e-Mohammed. The Jaish-e-Mohammed is run by a terrorist called Maulana Masood Azhar. He hides in plain sight in Bahawalpur in Pakistan, Punjab. I'm sure Rifaat is well aware of that. And the Jaish-e-Mohammed has previously conducted terror attacks on India's parliament and more recently the Pathankot air base. So this terrorist is one of India's most wanted, and you have a terrorist on tape saying that the Jaish-e-Mohammed is responsible for this attack. So what more actionable intelligence Indians would say is needed?
I'll just bring in Rifaat. Rifaat,
Yeah.
Pakistan has long been accused of harbouring terrorist groups in the country, and yet it continues to deny this fact.
Well, the fact of the matter is that Jaish-e-Mohammed is a banned group, and this group is not only responsible for carrying out attacks against President Musharraf, the ex-military president of Pakistan, but more importantly, more recently, they have carried out a number of attacks against the Pakistani security personnel. So, in view of this, I do not find it credible for Barkha to argue that Jaish-e-Mohammed is the mastermind behind this. If India has evidence, if they have conducted their investigation, or so the Pakistani Prime Minister is on record for having asked for this evidence.
What Barkha is saying is that there are known terrorists to be freely operating and roaming the streets of certain parts of Pakistan, and the Pakistani authorities are doing nothing about that.
No, that is absolutely not true. But I think over the past 2 or 3 years, the government has taken a number of steps to rein in these groups. But yes, they have a following, they have a supporters, but these groups are not being allowed to operate with impunity. And if India has any evidence of Pakistani nationals or members of the banned Jaish-e-Mohammed group.
Barkha, you're shaking your head. You're disagreeing. Just jump in.
Well, I'm disagreeing because this is an age-old argument between Indians and Pakistanis and India and Pakistan. But moments ago, the acting High Commissioner of Pakistan to India was actually summoned by the Foreign Ministry and has been handed over a dossier of the kind that Rifaat was looking for with yet more evidence of the Jaish-e-Mohammed links to Pulwama. But may I remind Rifaat that exactly the same script was followed after the terror attack on the Pathankot airbase in India. And at that time, Nawaz Sharif was Pakistan's Prime Minister. And it is my understanding that when he tried to crack down on terror groups, the Pakistani deep state didn't approve of this and actually ended up perhaps, ousting him, some would say. So I think my question to my Pakistani friends would be that surely you know that the Jaish-e-Mohammed and the Lashkar-e-Taiba are able to function with impunity. These are terror groups that have been responsible for terror attacks on India. And I think till there is a visible crackdown, I mean, you want a gesture of goodwill, arrest Masood Azhar. Just arrest him. Rifaat said Jaish-e-Mohammed is a banned group. Let's see Masood Azhar put behind bars.
Your response to that, Rifaat?
Well, I absolutely agree with Barkha that Pakistani state would take action, and they are determined to take action against these groups. But that should hardly be a reason. No. The important point is that there's a presumption here that there's a direct link between Jaish-e-Mohammed and what happened in case of a Pulwama attack, and I don't see any shred of evidence with that. This was a local Kashmiri youth who carried out this attack, and unfortunately, without examining the evidence, the Indian media, along with the Indian government, began to blame Pakistan. So if the Indians want to be the executioner and the judge and the jury, so be it. But the fact is, I would like to ask Barkha that if the the Kashmiri struggle for freedom is being inspired by Pakistan, so why is it that to control that struggle, India has 700,000 troops stationed inside Kashmir?
Let me put that point to Barkha. Barkha, there's often criticism of the Indian armed forces in Kashmir for being heavy-handed, for using pellet guns on the youth, for the curfews that they impose. There is that argument and that criticism of the Indian armed forces.
Well, let me put it to you like this, that I have a very fundamental disagreement with Rifaat for trying to locate terrorism in the larger context of the Kashmir conflict. And I'll tell you why. Because how do you then explain the Mumbai attacks of 26/11? 26/11, which was conducted by Pakistan sending in 10 terrorists to the city of Bombay. conducted by the Lashkar-e-Taiba, dossier after dossier has gathered dust. That's point one. Secondly, I think from the perspective of India, there is an ongoing sort of political issue in the Kashmir Valley that Delhi says is between Delhi and the people of the Kashmir Valley. And how does that, and India and Pakistan have also discussed Kashmir in other bilateral sort of fora. So it's not that the issue of Kashmir has not been discussed in dialogue between India and Pakistan. How does any of that justify terror strikes on 40 soldiers traveling from one city to the other on a highway by a suicide bomber who is on tape, Rifaat, may I remind you, claiming membership of the Jaish-e-Mohammed, and the Jaish-e-Mohammed has not denied this. And it is well known that the Jaish-e-Mohammed and the Lashkar-e-Taiba send in what the Pakistani army once used to call Mujahideen into the Kashmir Valley.
We'll have to leave it there, unfortunately. We have run out of time. But Barkha, Rifaat, thank you both for joining us here on the program from Delhi and Islamabad.
Thank you so much.